Welcome to the Emotional Eating Unwrapped podcast. I'm your host, Alana Kessler, an emotional eating and weight loss coach for women looking to fall in love with eating, create healthy attachments with food, and lose weight sustainably. Hello and welcome to another new episode of Emotional Eating Unwrapped. I'm your host, Alana Kessler, and today is a very special day because today is the 100th episode of Emotional Eating Unwrapped. I am so proud of my team. I'm so proud of us for just bringing this podcast to life for all the listeners who continue week after week to just celebrate the podcast, to listen in, to subscribe, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. It's just really been an amazing experience and just such a joy to be able to have these really deep, long form conversations with you all about these topics that, sometimes we feel like alone in our thoughts about them. And so it's just such a great opportunity. And I just feel so blessed to be able to come every week and bring you these conversations, and you all seem to be enjoying them. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart. And before we move into today's episode, I will share that today's episode is an episode with one of my good friends, Alexa Cawley. She is joining us for the episode today. And I asked her to come on specifically for this episode because she and I met when I was just starting Be Well by AK. And she was really just supportive and instrumental in helping me crystallize the message of Be Well by AK, and has been kind of there with me almost every step of the way, being able to really see how the brand and how the message and how the sober eating method has evolved into what it is today. And I get a lot of questions about the sober eating method and about how it came about. And I felt as though she was a perfect person to come on and really share about her viewpoint of how it's evolved, and also share how she has personally been enhanced from taking principles of the sober eating method through our friendship and through our working relationship together to just create a life that feels amazing. And I thought that she would be a perfect person to chat with. So without further ado, enjoy today's episode with Alexa Cawley. So happy to have you back on.
I'm so happy to be here.
Hi everyone. Again, today's episode is so exciting because I have Alexa back. Alexa Cawley. She is such a good friend of mine. We know each other for such a long time, and we have such exciting life updates to share. And that's really the crux of today's episode, is really just a reconnection with Alexa, because we are celebrating our 100th episode of Emotional Eating Unwrapped. And Alexa was actually one of the first people that I worked with, that I confided in, that I just poured my whole heart out to when I was starting Be Well by AK, like 6 years ago or so around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I had started Be Well by AK before, but as I was turning it more from like a nutrition private practice more into what it is now, Alexa, she has her own marketing company, marketing agency, super special. I want you to go into that a little bit more just so everyone can remember. And literally, she was my saving grace, and just really supported me in getting my vision out there. And so I felt like, she was the one person I wanted to chat with, just to share with all the community and all the listeners about Be Well by AK, and really to get insight into how the evolution of the program, the brand, the work we do, the work I do, and how it's evolved over the years, because it truly is something that is unique to me and to, I think, the wellness world in general. And you really helped me to crystallize that voice from the beginning. And yeah, I get a lot of questions, especially now with the mentorship and with the podcast
Mhm.
being more popular. A lot of people ask me, what is your background, or not even what's your background, because I know my background, but like, where can I read more about what you do? And I
Mm.
always say, like, honestly, there's really nothing out there that
Mhm.
is like, that you can use as a reference. Everything that I've built and everything that I teach is purely from my own lived experience. Of course, my education in nutrition and that I teach, and I guide people on, is, of course, I have a master's in clinical nutrition. I am an RD, but a lot of the energetic work, a lot of the
Yeah.
um, emotional transformation of behaviors and patterns, that's stuff that I've alchemized into the sober eating method over the years that I have been doing this. And so Alexa has seen that firsthand. We've worked together on some of the things that I do work on with clients and members with
Mhm.
you, just
Mhm.
kind of just by virtue of being, um, close and,
Yeah.
in close capacity.
Yeah.
And so I was so excited when you were willing to share some of those things and, just talk about how the brand and the sober eating method has evolved. And
Mhm.
so, welcome. And I'm so happy to have you, and just catch up on life, because
Yeah.
you have big life updates and you have big work updates. And I think they're sort of connected to what
Yeah.
we're talking about today too. So, um,
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. It's so fun, and, just everything you said was just so touching. You have been such an amazing friend to have, because I do feel the way that we both embody our personal life and our work life as so intertwined is not common, right? And like, it has been really amazing and supportive to just have a business owner friend who also cares about like maintaining your peace. And it's really been amazing to have a friend like you who just like understands it, right? Like, a lot of my friends who work at a corporate job, like, they don't really understand. It's not the same thing. So, yeah, I'm very excited. It's been such an amazing evolution of your messaging and what you wanted to share and bring into the world. And it was like 6 years ago. You were like, I'm thinking about these things. I don't know how to really like translate it into just words for people to get it and understand. And just your evolution of messaging has been so amazing to watch. So I'm totally here for this. I love it.
yay. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Coming from you, that's such a big compliment, because like anything, I think when you start something,
Mhm.
you only realize how like how many, not complicated, but complex and layered things are as you really get into it. It's like anything, when I first started this, it just, you have the idea and you have the motivation and you have the new relationship energy, right, that I talk about with
Mhm.
everything. And it's almost like everything is the same.
Mhm.
And so when I started this 6 years ago, it's like I had so much of my own life experience that I realized was impacting and was the foundation for how I was supporting women with eating, right? It's
Mhm.
like, it's food, but it's your environment, it's the energy that not only you receive but that you give, that you might not even be noticing that's how you give it.
Mhm.
And when we started working together, I think I really was in a place where the masculine feminine energy piece, and realizing the over functioning, the people pleasing, maybe there were some subconscious attachment, theory stuff that you just start to, and you realize how interconnected that is with food, with dieting,
Yeah.
with people's, people's obsession thinking that it's a food thing, but really it's an energy thing. And how learning how to have boundaries with food,
Mhm.
with people,
Mhm.
and boundaries, but also, and then learning how to have boundaries, but also learning how to receive, right?
Mhm.
Receive, and like be able to enjoy good food, be able
Mhm.
to receive good treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And those kind of unspoken reciprocations
Mm-hmm.
that aren't necessarily obvious.
Mm-hmm. And that's the really hard work. And I remember that was definitely a huge portion of our early conversations because food is easy to control, right? It's very easy to quantify. Energy is not an easy thing to quantify, right? Like you
Mm.
have to get real with yourself of, and like your podcast episode last week of like chaos is kind of comfortable. Like you have to get real with yourself that you are uncomfortable if there's nothing to do. And so you do fill a void, right? And like, I just remember that you were dealing so much with seeing one on one clients be like, well, it's about the food. It's about the food. And you were like, it's not, though. It's about what comes before the food. And that was really what you were trying to translate. And yeah, that has just been a really cool thing because yeah, you're helping a lot of people at the same time now be able to just understand like, hey, your energy is something that we need to think about first. It's not just the food.
Exactly. And it's so interesting because, in the mentorship, there's the three phases. There's the release phase, there's a reprogramming phase, and there's the
Mm,
integration phase. And the reprogramming phase is the phase with the food. But the release phase is not, we don't really the release phase is where you reflect on your eating habits, but it's really about self-awareness and not giving you like the new fancy like shiny object to like fix yourself with. It's
mhm,
really about like it's like a mirror, right? The
mm,
release phase is like, nope, you're not gonna get something new to change. You're gonna look in the mirror here,
mhm,
and it's a mirror. And it's amazing how people sometimes will start and they'll be like, well, I'm not doing anything, I guess, if you're not giving me a
mm,
food thing. And like within like a few days, they're like, I've changed things I haven't been able to change in years, like
yeah.
it's just, and I remember our early conversations also where we were talking about like your relationship with like weight
Mhm,
and, your body image journey.
yeah.
And, you were always really receptive to what I was saying. And I think it's
Mhm,
because you had done a lot of other things similar to the women that I end up working with,
mhm,
have really done so many things
mhm,
in the food realm and like whatever that when they come to me, they're I think I did talk about this in one of the podcast episodes too. Like their wound has opened
mm,
enough where like,
mhm,
the opening is there, the understanding is there, and now it's like there's a willingness.
mhm,
And I remember we were talking about it, and you weren't like an energetically kind of complex
mm,
/ maybe imbalanced
mhm.
place in your life. And
Yeah.
so I'd love to hear how that has transformed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, let's think. Okay, so to paint the picture. So 6 years ago, I was living with not my current partner. I was living with an ex-boyfriend, living in a neighborhood that I didn't want to live in. And I am very not sensitive to energy, but I really like good energy around me, right? And like I am a Libra. I do like luxury environments. I like things to look nice. It really impacts how hard I work. Um, it impacts how creative I am and just generally like the standard that I hold myself to, I think. And so, 6 years ago at this time when we first met, I was living in a neighborhood that I did not want to be living in. I was in a relationship that a lot was just suppressed, like things that a lot of my needs and desires and things that I wanted were not in the relationship. I was too young at that time to know that it was missing, like to be able to pinpoint that I had certain needs and maybe not to know, but to advocate for myself. Like I knew it, but it was a dull knowing. It wasn't like a very crisp, clear knowing. And so, yeah, I think all of that stuff, like living the place that I didn't want to live, my relationship was not fulfilling in the way that I needed it to be for my own feminine energy. That just manifested into a lot of energetic and physical weight that was just like stuck on my body. Um, it manifested into just working not working really hard, not smart, you know? So like taking on a ton of one-on-one clients, not really having the space and the freedom to think about scalability of my own product and my own brand. Um, so yeah, so all of that stuff was kind of just the perfect storm of like an extra 30 pounds, like, just hyper working, like, just being in a more masculine kind of energy. And it wasn't until I kind of finally like took a firm end to it. And I was just like, I am learning a lot about myself. And you were such a huge part of that because, like, I mean, I was 20, I don't know, 20 something when we met. And like, that was just, now I'm 34. And that was a very different phase in my life. Like, no one was having conversations around, like, one of the first things you said of being like, holding boundaries is feminine. Like, you were the first person, I think, actually, that was like, everybody thinks being a mother is like feminine. That's actually, you're in your masculine because you're doing and caretaking and all of this stuff. And that was one of the first times that I was like, okay, wow. Like, being nurturing and being a caretaker and like people pleasing and making sure everybody else is taken care of, we like can be misled to think that's feminine, and it's totally not. And like even just little things like that were totally throwing me off balance of like, I was like, okay, I'm living with this partner it's the first time I ever lived with a man. Like, I need to take care of them. Like, that's just what you think. And then yeah, it was like about a slow, I would say, 2-year process of like unlearning all of that stuff. And you were so impactful during that time. And it is, my life is definitely very different now. Um, but yeah, that's where I was 6 years ago.
How is it different?
I live in my dream apartment, which is very nice. I just got engaged
Yay.
12 days ago, to the absolute like love of my life. And he's just so naturally masculine. Like, our very first date, which is funny, you and I share this, that our first dates with our partners were walking around Madison Square Park in New York,
Yep,
which is just so funny to me. And you guys met on Bumble, right?
we did. Yeah,
That's so funny. Yeah, so did
in
we.
COVID.
So did we. But yeah, so we met about a year ago and a little under a year ago. Um, and our first date was just walking around Madison Square Park. And I just remember thinking at the end of the date, I was like, I didn't have to ask a single question. Like, it was literally one of the first times in my life. And granted, like, I was cognizant to that because of all of the work that I've been doing and the books that I've read, just all like the content that I have been voluntarily consuming.
Mm.
But I was able to understand, like, he led that whole time. Like, he took care of me by just taking care of the conversation. And it felt so nice. And then ever since then, it was just like every single date was I felt so cared for. I didn't have to like do anything. I was just able to just completely just like receive his stability. And yeah, like it's been awesome ever since. And yeah, it's definitely so much in part to like everything that you spoke about and all the conversations we had. You have a podcast episode that I listened to like twice, two, probably three times in the very early phases, when I was like just starting dating again. And yeah, it's been pretty awesome.
Ah, amazing. I'll link that episode. We'll link the episode in the show notes so that you guys can go back and listen to the episode. But
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I remember because back then people weren't really talking so much
No,
about it. And
that was also right around the time TikTok was really taking off. So like content was also changing and the way people were speaking about it was changing.
yeah, I feel like attachment theory was sort of more popular
Yeah.
than the masculine feminine energy stuff
Yeah.
and the nuance of it. Um, and I think I just remember, yeah, I just remember because in the mentorship now, the quiz that so we created it, the women in the mentorship were listening to this know that there's a section in the mentorship all about masculine feminine energy.
Yeah.
And Alexa and I worked on that piece together
Yeah.
when we were building it back then.
Yeah.
And so as as you move through that, there's like an actual quiz in there where you can assess your type. Remember, we worked like
Mhm.
so hard on that. That was
Yeah.
like, and now it's in there, and I feel like in the community, I see people going through that phase, and it's like they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is me.
Yeah.
Because you're not just masculine or feminine, and it's really important to recognize that. And I think
Mm-hmm.
something that women really need to understand is you are both,
Mm-hmm.
but what is feminine is discernment, and what is feminine is boundaries, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, and being able to separate while being collaborative.
Mm-hmm.
So collaboration is very feminine,
Mm-hmm.
whereas whereas just doing something to get it done, which a lot of women do, they're like, whatever, I'll just do it. That's very masculine.
Mm-hmm.
What's the feminine skill is expressing your desire for something to happen, and then collaborating to get it done
Mm-hmm.
in a way where you're not always the one that has to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that nuance is where a lot of women are not really elevating themselves to embody,
Mm-hmm.
because it's skill.
Mm-hmm.
It's a skill.
Even just the word discernment that you said is not something you can't possibly be able to discern what feels good and bad for you if you're in overdrive, right? Like discernment, at least for me, is only something that comes with space,
Correct.
right? Like that you really need the space and the peace to understand what is right for you and what feels good for you. And you just can't get there if you're, go, go, go all the time. Like if you're hyper functioning.
Exactly. And I think the part that can also, which I think is important to normalize, is that if you've spent years and decades
Mm-hmm.
abandoning, not a failure on purpose, but like not acknowledging what you like and you don't like, when you decide to start living this way, there's going to be a time where you just don't know. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing, and you just have to learn through trial and error, through courage.
Mm-hmm.
That's why courage and action is the biggest thing that you need. It's not a rule or someone tell you what to do. It's just do something, get feedback, and iterate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with food, right?
Mm-hmm.
And eating. A lot of the women who don't have discernment with food,
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have space with food, because space feels scary, or space, it's a skill.
Yeah.
This, like you mentioned with the episode, it's a skill to be in stillness. The episode that was released last week,
Yeah.
um, it's a skill to be in stillness. There's a lot of self strength that you need to build up, and not strength that's aggressive, that holds people away,
Mm-hmm.
just an inner confidence, right? An
Mm-hmm.
inner sovereignty
Mm-hmm.
that you build up, that's also porous. It's
Mm-hmm.
open for people to come in, but only at a place that you are going to you're open to receive, because you're not scared of being taken advantage of, because you know that limit,
Mm-hmm.
and you're able to hold that limit. It's
Yeah.
the same thing, again, the same thing with food. You're not afraid to go have the ice cream, because you're not going to be overcome by it.
Yeah.
You know the limit, but you don't right away.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to learn
Yeah.
you have to learn what your limit is, but only through action
Mm-hmm.
and feedback.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It is such a skill to be quiet and to listen to yourself. Um, and it's so funny, like understanding the doing versus receiving. It really can come back to that. Like, I remember literally like last summer, when we had first kind of met and we were dating, and it was really early, like 3-4 dates. And I was just like, I'm just going to see what happens. Like, I'm actually just going to sit in this. And it's like, when you're in overdrive, you're like, okay, I'm going to text him, like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm just going to listen to some music and like feel nice. Like, that was really nice. And I'm just going to feel that was really nice. And that's that. Right. And like, it is funny because last summer I was also like in my business. I was like, this is the first time things are just rolling. Like, I was so not taken out of it, but I I did set up for a long time, like you have with the quiz and your website. Like all of that stuff takes a long time in the beginning to feel like you get it into a good spot. And there is a moment for all business owners when you're just like, I don't have anything to do. Like things are working and and I'm getting paid and everything is lovely. But like you'll open your computer some days and you're like, okay, like there's really nothing that I
Yeah.
need to do today and everything is still functioning. And that was, going on at the same time that I had met my fiance. And I was like, wow, okay, I'm just going to sit here and listen to some music.
And doesn't it
It
make you
was
realize like how much space, how much you can have in your life?
hmm.
Because I think so many people tell us what we have to exclude
Yeah.
in order to like get to feel good, but
Hmm.
it's really the opposite. You have to
Hmm.
learn how to include more and actually realize that that's actually the natural way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, it's just the craziest thing to me is just like that as women for so long, we've been told we're supposed to function on the same schedule as men. And like that, I also did a huge deep dive into just like cycle syncing and your phases and like there's a reason why the week before your period, like you don't want to work. You're maybe not really supposed to have to work as hard. Like it's, we're not supposed to function on this 9 to 5 schedule the way that men do. Like we have literally different biological rhythms that impact the way we work and our creativity and our output. Right. So it was also for me just like a lot of learning about that, which has been so fascinating.
Oh yeah. I mean, the hormones, and I feel like hormones are being exploited a little bit in the wellness industry
Oh,
slightly,
yeah.
to be honest.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
like it's actually like it's almost like
It's
diet culture.
it
It's
is
like
a lot of
hormone culture.
misinformation. Yeah, a
It's
lot of
crazy.
misinformation around like your cortisol is too high, and it's like, well, you need cortisol. Like, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I do think, chronic levels of cortisol being
yes,
too high is a problem,
yeah,
but like you do need cortisol in the morning to
yeah,
mobilize your
yeah,
activity. Like
yeah,
that's good, right? But it's also, yeah, it's just another kind of quick fix thing. But
yeah.
the circadian rhythm stuff and like the
Mhm,
cycle,
mhm,
so it's so important. And as somebody who's now kind of like veering into the perimenopause,
mhm.
I'm not even veering. I don't even know why I'm lying. I'm like, I wake up in cold at night, so it's all, like all the time. But it actually like is crazy. Like I feel like it's a very different time. But again, the same thing too. Like there are different. It's not as predictable.
Mm,
So I think when you're younger and you have a normal cycle,
mhm,
it is more predictable. So that is
mhm,
a true thing. I think with perimenopause, it actually is much less predictable.
mhm.
Having my Aura ring has been a game changer for me though,
I'm
because
sure.
it makes me feel normal.
Yeah,
Because like data makes you feel normal.
yeah,
So
totally.
especially like when it comes to biometrics
Yeah,
like this. So if I see my temperature's up, it just validates that like, yes, my levels are at a certain level,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I know. That's what the biggest game changer for me with the Aura Ring has been the temperature. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, it is crazy to me that like we don't learn this stuff when we're like
Yeah.
18 and having a period, right? Like it takes us until we're like in our 30s. Like truly all of my friends only started learning about this stuff in their 30s, like early 30s. And it's just like that was how many lost years of understanding like the power of your femininity and like it's very interesting to me.
I know. I think what's so interesting, I never thought about this, but when I started practicing yoga so long ago, but when I started
Mhm.
practicing Ashtanga in like 2007, like traditional style Mysore Ashtanga yoga,
Yeah.
um, part of the tradition is you don't practice on your cycle. You don't practice on your period, and you take off on moon days.
Yeah.
So the full moon and the new moon. So, I never thought of it, but really like my attunement to my cycle started then
Mhm.
because I didn't practice on my period and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And so, but I don't know if I actually realized until right now how that just that habit
Mhm.
became the foundation for the attunement to my body
Mhm.
that has probably been what has also informed so much of what I do now in my work,
Mhm.
mainly just because that portal opened to,
Mhm.
not practicing then and then having to like reflect and be with myself, and
Mhm.
feel what those things felt like, and
Yeah.
kind of collected information around that over time as to what that meant, right? Or as to what
Yeah.
was really going on biochemically.
Yep.
And now with having such a great understanding of it. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's interesting too when you think about, like, I love acupuncture so much. It
Yeah.
did wonders for me for like regular I mentioned this on the last episode, but I have PCOS, which is super under control from food and acupuncture and things now, but for a while, like it was just not under control and I was totally not understanding what was going on, and like we're speaking about, like it was just, the suppression of information, I think, that we do as a society, specifically, in America. Like, and it's interesting when you're talking about like Ashtanga yoga and you're like, okay, you don't practice on full moons or new moons. And you mentioned earlier about collaboration and like how collaboration is feminine. Last November, I hosted a very small client retreat in Montauk. It happened to be a full moon. It was a huge, beautiful full moon. 8 women, every single one of us got our period on that full moon. And sorry for people who they like don't love this kind of conversation. I feel like
I
we're
think
getting
everyone's
a little
fine with
into this. But I think most of your listeners are women, so I feel like it's okay. But I just remember thinking like, it's just like, especially in the yoga practice, like learned, there's so many traditions that are thousands of years old that do try to teach us as women, like, hey, you're supposed to be in community together. You're supposed to be synced up to nature. Like, and it's funny, like we, sometimes like I love berries as my workout, but sometimes I'll go and like, you'll talk to people and they're like, oh, I'm on my first day. Like I have cramps. And I'm like, you shouldn't be here. Like, this is not what you should be doing today, but that's okay. But it's just a very interesting learning, especially. And like, we have a lot to learn too from like the ancient traditions and, yeah, of just like how we should be resting and in collaboration. And it's funny when you start to see the proof come through, like physically, like when you're all women are together, like you all start your period on the same day. And like, that's a really powerful and cool thing that should just tell us, like, you're supposed to be in community, like you guys are supposed to be together.
I remember what it felt like to be stuck in the cycle of emotional eating. I tried every diet out there, counting, tracking, restricting, but nothing ever worked. Food controlled my life, my thoughts, and I constantly felt guilty after eating. But once I learned how to heal the emotional triggers behind my eating and trust my body, everything changed. I stopped obsessing over food, the weight started coming off naturally, and I found real freedom in how I ate and lived. So, I created the Sober Eating year-long mentorship to help other women experience the same transformation. So you can stop battling with food, you can lose weight without deprivation, and you can feel confident in your body again. In this mentorship, you'll have access to my proven nervous system rewiring method. You'll have access to live coaching with me, weekly accountability, and a community of women who truly understand your journey. You'll also have free access to my signature programs, the Emotional Eating Solution and Decoding Permanent Weight Loss, valued at $2,000. Click the link in the show notes to explore the mentorship today. You don't have to do this alone. I'll be right there with you every step of the way. Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's, I think, why both of us sort of, I think, transitioned our work
Mm-hmm.
from one-on-one into more of a community-based,
Yeah.
um, not base, but a community pillar of
Yeah.
support for the transformation. Me with, emotional eating and dieting and,
Mm-hmm.
helping women, supporting women, and, really just finding their strength and their best selves, and
Mm-hmm.
overcoming issues with food and body image, and you kind of with um, helping women with their business, and
Mm-hmm.
realizing. And so I'd love to hear you to share a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So I worked for Lululemon in 2013. I was not active before that. I mean, I was like, I danced a lot and I did gymnastics, so I shouldn't say that I wasn't active, but organized sports were not ever my thing. And just, yeah, started working for Lululemon, fell in love with the company, and that was 2013. So the wellness industry was really changing. The way to work out before that was like you would go to your gym, and New York had a lot of cute little yoga studios, which you were a part of, but there wasn't Soul Cycle, Barry's, like there weren't these, large scale luxury fitness chains. Like luxury fitness those two words just didn't go together. And then Lululemon came around, and I got very lucky at the timing that I started working there and just really started like meeting people and understanding what was going on in the industry with studios starting up, trainers transitioning into nutrition and, maybe going back to school and getting their RD. And there were so many different things going on. So yeah, just being in that community, I started to work with people. I kind of transitioned into working with people one-on-one, helping them bring their like wellness visions to reality. So after Lululemon, I worked for Soul Cycle for a bit and then transitioned into my own completely, where, I met you along the way and have just met a lot of really awesome clients that have stuff they want to share and like this, lived experience of like, just real true methods that have worked for them and pure intentions of bringing that to other people. So I work with clients one-on-one and then also in my group mentorship, which has been really fun. And the community aspect of that has really just been the coolest thing to witness. Like that was not an intention for me of like, okay, I want people to, be friends from across the world, but that's really taken off. And so that's been super cool too. So yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, no, I love it. I feel like, you know what, as you were talking, I thought one of the most feminine needs
Mhm.
is feeling seen and heard. And I think
Mhm.
that for men, that's not a need. For
Mhm.
not men, for masculine energy, that's not a need for masculine
Mhm.
energy. They just want to do, and they're very outcome focused,
Mhm.
not really needing any kind of emotional tapestry, involved with it, or kind of
Mhm.
layering involved with it. And I think um, what I love seeing in the work that I do is that the women, when they start connecting with each other in the community, it's like you think that you just need information
Mhm.
and like a guide or even just a coach.
Mhm.
And it's like, yes, that's helpful, especially, but really what really gives momentum
Mhm.
to your result that you want and to the outcome, because of course that's important,
Mhm.
isn't just effort and isn't just knowledge, because all those things are masculine. It's brain, right? It's like
Mhm.
doing and knowledge, which is brain. But really it's feeling seen and heard, and that's a feeling, right? It's
Mhm.
feeling seen and known. It's
Mhm.
feeling known and seen and heard. And when that happens, all of a sudden the knowledge feels easier to implement
Mhm.
and do, because you're seen and heard and you feel in community and like you're collaborating in the change with other people. And
Mhm.
I think that that's what makes why like I just love where I've gone with the work, and why I'm so in love and proud and happy with where like I've got into with the mentorship and with the
Mhm.
sober eating lifestyle and method,
Mhm.
because the information, we worked on the information,
Mhm.
like the messaging and all that stuff, and like the stuff,
Mhm.
the curriculum and the stuff was always there.
Yeah.
But I really find that it's in the living and breathing experience of it happening together with people
Mhm.
at their own pace. Like you see women naturally leading other women after months of being in the mentorship, right? Like
Mhm.
you see all of a
Yeah.
sudden like the flower blossoms, and that container where you grow into a leader
Yeah.
is is priceless.
Yeah.
That is the heat, like that is what is going to keep it for life. It's
Yeah.
giving yourself that space and that permission
Mhm.
because you have to take the action to grow into a self leader, and everyone has it in them.
Mhm.
Like every single person. Like sometimes you look at people and you're like, oh, she's just like that. It's
Mhm.
like, not really. Like everybody has it.
Mhm.
And I see it with every woman that comes through the mentorship that, takes action and and does the
Yeah.
work and does it.
Yeah.
And those are the people that are like, wow, it sticks, like
Yeah.
when nothing else had before.
Yeah. Yeah. It is very funny. Something I think that I've learned, you said like the masculine thrives on accomplishment and results, right? And it's funny because not once in my business have I ever marketed that I only work with women. I would never say that. I don't say that. I have over 200 members. I have no men, none, not one. And it's funny because I do know that feminine energy needs to feel safe to thrive, right? And like the messaging that I stick to with my business is I want people to feel like they are having fun with their business. And it's just the same with you. Like you need to tackle the energy portion before you can tackle the food. And I feel the same way. You need to tackle feeling fun with your work before you tackle the sales, right? Like,
Yes.
and it's a very combined, it's the same thing, but that's the marketing that I do of like, I just want you to feel like you're having fun with marketing. That's it. Because marketing makes people, especially women, feel not like just even that word just like makes women feel strange sometimes. And that's my work is being able to separate the word marketing from anything else, right? Like sales or icky or like, desperate, like all these things that come up for people when they hear the word marketing. So it's a funny thing. But yeah, I think that's like the marketing that I do around the feeling that I want you to have is what attracts women and not men, because the men want to be seen by the metrics, which makes sense. But it does not align with like my brand ethos.
That's so funny. I mean, it is so right?
Yeah.
And do you find that you attract that like the women that come to you at first are very like they have a hard time letting go, or are they embracing the fun right away? Because I think for me, my I'm like you talk about like let's make marketing not icky. I'm like let's make
Yeah.
weight loss not diet culture,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
weight loss feels good for people. Like
Yeah.
they, this is
Yeah.
like feel good about that, but like in order to feel good about it you have to unlearn and
Yep.
reprogram all these other things that you have, and you have to see it first, right? I always
Mhm.
say this, you can't heal what you don't see, right? You
Mhm.
can't do that, so you have to see first before you heal, right? You can't
Mhm.
just cover up with something new and then change. That's
Yeah.
not healing.
Yep.
Changing's not healing.
Yep. Yep.
So but the funny thing is that and so I'm similar, right? Where it's like you feel get into your feelings, get into your body, feel what's the word I'm looking for? Feel like worthy or empowered around your desire
Mhm.
to look good. And if that's weight loss, that's great.
Mhm.
Um, and I find though that the women that a lot of the women that I work with, and if they're listening, I'm sure they'll agree, are very in their masculine.
Mhm.
And so, there's a lot of, and they're also, it's why I like when I look in the group chat, I'm always just like smiling ear to ear when I see all these awakenings and these openings, because I know that a lot of them are really working hard to trust
Mm.
and to feel and to, be self-reflective and feel their feelings and feel their bodies and try to remove themselves from data, and metrics and
Mhm.
all those things, and then realizing that the result will come not from micromanaging yourself, but from
Mhm.
connecting to yourself.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah, but I have a lot of, what's funny is like I feel like, and it's like almost like my calling is to take women who are in their
Yeah.
masculine and guide them into being, in their feminine while also preserving their masculine. Because, like I said
Mhm.
before, you have to have a strong masculine for yourself.
Yeah.
I think the issue is
Yeah.
that, and I remember we had this conversation,
Yeah.
the issue is that a lot of women employ their masculine energy as their calling chip,
Mhm.
the nurturing, the caretaking, um, the mommying to
Mhm.
boyfriends, husbands, everybody, the momager, the
Yeah.
micromanaging, all that stuff.
Yes.
Um, and it's learning to take that energy and put it on yourself, right?
Mhm.
To create your own stability.
Mhm. Mhm.
And but you don't want to get rid of masculine energy. You just have to redirect the masculine energy
Mhm.
towards you.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will never forget a few months into us dating, or maybe let's say probably 4 or 5 months. We had, really started to be like, okay, I think this is it. Like, he was like, I think you're the one, like very sweet. And there was one time we were just like laying down and he was like, you just make me feel like more of a man. And I was like, that is the best compliment I could ever get. Like, that just made me feel so validated in all of the work and everything that I've been doing, because I do make a conscious effort. And it is a lot of unlearning not to mother your partner. Like, that is something that we see all around us, right? With like friends and family and everyone being like, honey, are you hungry? What do you want for lunch? Do you want a sandwich? Like, it is a very conscious thing to undo that and to be like, I trust that if he's a man, if he's hungry, he's gonna eat something. Like,
And also, if he needs something, he'll ask me.
totally. Yeah.
But the feminine thing though could be to remind him,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like I will say like, "Oh, hey, I'm sure you got it handled, but like let me know if you need anything."
Mm-hmm.
Let
Yeah.
me know.
Right.
I'm not going to ask you a million times if you need something.
Right.
That's the nuance.
Right. Because that's
Right?
support. Right. And it's like
Exactly.
being a supportive partner is very different than being the doing partner.
Or a mind reader,
Yeah.
right? Like you're
Yeah.
not being like anticipating what someone's going to need to help them and support them is masculine energy.
Yeah.
Letting them know you're there and that they have to ask for help.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're doing
Yeah.
your thing,
Yeah.
listening to your music, you're there,
Yeah.
happy to, and then it gets more layered. Like, obviously, if you're busy in a certain hour and he wants your help, then you're going to be like, sorry, like,
Yeah.
and that's where
Yeah.
the collaboration comes in, right? It's not just carte
Yep.
blanche, like
Yeah.
whatever he asks, now
Yeah.
you're going to jump. Right. So
Yeah.
I feel like these are all these nuanced type of things.
Yeah.
But to your point, I also think people get confused about reciprocation when it comes
Yes.
to masculine. Remember, we talked about this too. Like,
Yeah.
just because he asks you on a date
Yeah.
doesn't, on your third date, doesn't mean that the fourth date, it's now your turn to
No.
ask to plan the date. Like,
No.
that's not reciprocation,
Yeah.
right? It's like, well, he did it last time, so I'll do it this time.
Yeah.
No, then you're both doing the masculine thing.
It's also like someone who is truly in their masculine is like their accomplishment that they are seen by is you saying yes, right?
Exactly.
Like, you don't take
But
that
you have to
responsibility.
appreciate.
Right. Right. But like, you don't take that responsibility from them. That responsibility makes them feel good. Right. So like, why would
Exactly.
you take that gift from them? Like, I'm going to be here and receive it and like let you know that I'm receiving it and appreciating it like very genuinely and very happily if that's, where I'm at. But right, like, I'm not going to take your job that makes you feel like a man from you. I wouldn't do that. Right. And so it, it just comes back to everything of like, hey, I'm hungry. I'm going to make myself a salad. And like, I trust you to be like, can you make me some too? Right. Like,
Exactly.
I don't need to constantly be like, are you sure? Are you sure? Like, that is, yeah, takes it all.
But I love that because I think that, and this goes into a lot of people talk about like self worth and like all that stuff. But what you just described is self worth,
Mhm.
saying, like, I know that my appreciation of what you're doing
Mhm.
is a reciprocation.
Mhm.
My just
Yes.
happiness and like
Yeah.
energy
Yeah.
And being here to accept and reflect back your effort to you
Yeah.
is just as valuable as the effort itself.
Yes.
That is unlearning that a lot of women don't. And that is like the crux
Yeah.
of so much of what we do.
Yeah.
Because that is like, so many people overlook that.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm like, you're there. It's
Yeah.
enough.
Yes,
But instead
exactly.
of worrying about, but instead you're there kind of performing, making yourself small, micromanaging, or
Right.
just like overthinking. So you're just kind of, your energy is the lights off on your energy.
Yeah.
You don't need to do more. You
Yeah.
don't need to be different. You just need to
Right.
turn the light on your energy and let that shine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just as important.
Yeah. We bring different things, masculine and feminine energy. We bring different things to situations,
Mm-hmm.
and they thrive. And I know it, like, it could be male, female, but also not, right? But like, just masculine, feminine energy, like masculine does thrive on getting you there, picking a place, like, but we bring energy to the world. Like, we bring beauty to the world, and like space and creativity, and like that's the gift of you being there. You don't need to take their job and be like, well, what about this space? And do you want to go here? And like, making sure they're comfortable. Like, you being comfortable and thriving and having space is the gift. Like, that is your responsibility when you show up.
Exactly. Like fire is only fire
Mm-hmm.
because of the air.
I love that.
Like otherwise it'll be just like a little spark.
Yeah.
But it only becomes a fire because of the air.
Yeah.
Like that you can't really see, but it's a lot.
I love that.
And I think that's feminine energy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah.
But you don't just to be in your feminine energy is a skill.
Mm-hmm.
It's not there are actual actions that you have to take
Mm-hmm.
to embody feminine energy in real life.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just say like, I'm going to be feminine, I'm a goddess. Like that's not feminine energy. It is actual effort.
Yeah.
You have to, but the effort is high level. You have to be intuitive. You have to be attuned. You have to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
You have to awake. Like masculine energy doesn't pay attention. They pay attention to details and get things done.
Mm-hmm.
They don't pay attention to nuance, how people feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't pay attention to feelings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Like, but feelings is what amplifies the experience.
Yeah.
If you just have an experience with no feelings, it's kind of just blah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that fire and air analogy is where your Ayurveda training comes in.
Yes, totally. And and the thing is like, it has to be in good balance,
Mm-hmm.
Because the issue is like, if there's no feminine energy
Mm-hmm.
coming when the masculine is moving things forward, it will just like collapse.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you have two people that are the planners and the doers, and two people that are so focused on the logistics and getting you there, right? And then there's no more space for the joy and the lightness, that's not a fun date. No one's going to have fun. That's not going anywhere.
Right. Or if you have someone that's doing a lot, the masculine energy is like making things happen, and the feminine is kind of just like complaining or criticizing or not appreciating because they don't realize that that's an action. It's just that's when like nothing happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so that's the miss sometimes, is people aren't realizing that these small gratitude is just as important as doing an effort.
Yeah.
An expression.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. Like feminine, you really have to work on expression. I feel like culture values effort so much more than expression.
Yeah.
And both things move energy forward.
Yes.
And you need both.
Yes. I very much believe our relationship is what it is because of how much I expressed like my happiness and appreciation and just like true gratitude for who he is, but it doesn't feel comfortable in the beginning. Like that is something that does feel very vulnerable, but that is like truly the piece of advice I would give is like this, like just get comfortable with it.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
was the same thing for me. You remember?
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
was I dating Brian when we met already? I think
Uh,
maybe we had just
I think you maybe just met, but I think also I think
no.
no,
I
I
think
knew you before Brian.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
You knew me before when I was struggling with all of this type of stuff, like
Yeah.
complicated, confusing,
Yeah.
quote unquote mixed signals, feeling like I had to text because I didn't hear from him. Maybe it's my turn
Yeah.
to text first, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's so funny.
Yeah.
And then when I met Brian and I started practicing the stuff that then I
Yeah.
ended up speaking to you about a lot, was it felt like effort in the beginning. It
Mhm.
did feel like I was doing. It
Mm.
wasn't as natural,
Yeah.
but then it became natural. I also started practicing it like not just with men,
Yeah.
like in general in life. I
Yeah.
just was like, would go about my life like looking for things to appreciate, looking
Mhm.
for things to be grateful for, looking for ways to express to happiness and like pull that out of myself and like, be more just abundant in
Mhm.
general.
Yeah.
And that helped so much,
Oh,
like
yeah.
it also helps fill you up. You don't need like speaking about what I work with women on, like you don't need food as
Yeah.
much to fill you up
Yeah.
because like you are kind of plugging into, different types of energy. And I
And, like,
remember similarly,
satisfaction in a different way.
yeah, and like similarly with Brian, I remember he also had said to me that one of the reasons why he like loved me and wanted to, be with me was because I really made him feel appreciative and like
Mhm.
appreciated for some of the things that other women like never saw him for, like, thought was kind of just like didn't appreciate him for, right? Like
Yeah.
the Excel spreadsheets. Remember I told you about this. Like he
Yeah.
makes Excel spreadsheets for every trip and
Yeah.
he collects the restaurants and
Yeah.
then highlights them and puts links and
Yeah.
gluten free and like, this, all this, and it's all there. And he puts all
Yeah.
this effort in.
Yeah. He wants to be
And
appreciated for the effort. Of course.
yeah,
Of
not
course.
just like, not just go on the trip and
Yeah.
just like not say anybody, but he was like, you really see me.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like masculine energy doesn't need to feel seen to get things done, but they need to feel seen to continue to do the things
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
For them, no, they'll do it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But for you in relationship, they need that.
I don't think enough people understand how your happiness is such a gift
Mm-hmm.
and like how happy that makes like happiness ripples, right? And like just
Mm-hmm.
showing how happy you are is a big deal. And like that is a gift that you can give someone. So like yeah, that if anybody like if anyone's taking anything from this, I would say like just one day, like just today, find a way to tell someone like, hey, you made me really happy with that thing you did. Whoever it is, it can be your sister, it can be whoever you want. But like just expressing happiness from what somebody else did for you constantly is, I truly believe, like a big part of like just finding true abundance.
Exactly. And also, when you express happiness to them, there might be a part of you as you're like learning this that feels like now you have to do something for them
Yes.
in reciprocation.
Yes.
And then when you see their happiness, you get happy.
Yeah.
But no, you
Yeah.
need to learn that your happiness to
Yeah.
them is enough. And I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
it's almost like the equivalent of like not being able to stop eating,
Yep.
right? It's like, no, just like, it's good. Just enjoy,
Yep.
be happy and appreciative. You don't need to take more. You don't need
Yeah.
to do more. You don't need to
Yeah.
like now do something for them.
Yeah.
That's really, you don't know.
Yeah. Your
Yeah.
energy is the gift.
It's the
That's the
gift.
thing.
Yes, I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's just, oh my God, this
And
is
that
so
is
good.
like us as women, we forget how much our true, like we've said it too many times, like our feminine energy is the lightness and it is the beauty and it is the love. And like they do feel that. Everybody can feel that. And that is the gift. Like that
And it,
is what we bring. And that's
yeah, and it's
all we
all,
need to bring. Like that's all you need to bring. And that's it. That makes things thrive and happy. And like, yeah.
I mean, it's the feminine energy is the earth, right? Like
Mhm.
nothing would grow without the earth.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you like water,
Yeah.
whatever, fertilizer,
Yeah.
all this, like if it didn't have earth, nothing would grow at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's just so, but yeah, like it just, and also for yourself,
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
learning how to source that feminine energy, not just for your masculine partner
Yeah.
or the masculine energies in your life to feel
Right.
good, but
Right.
for
It's for
you,
you.
like how
Yeah.
could you learn to nurture and cultivate and have a big well of your own feminine energy that you can plug into when you feel triggered, stressed,
Mhm.
this and that. Like that's
Mhm.
something that you have to grow and
Mhm.
build. And, you know, just to kind of circle back, like what I love about my mentorship, and I'm sure like yours, where, you know, they resource fun from each other, right? Like they learn your core, like feminine. And it's like, it's much easier to find that like well when you
Mhm.
borrow in the beginning from other people.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get it from like anybody could look on Google and be like, what's should I do for self-care? And they'll tell you like read a book, you know, but like you
Yeah.
only do it by like you only find what you need for you
Mhm.
by practicing, getting like validated and
Yeah.
seen, and borrowing sometimes from other people in the beginning until you
You
have
feel
enough for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it just comes back to earlier, like discernment.
Yeah.
Discernment needs space, and
Yeah.
you need to figure it out for yourself and like
Yeah.
really, but to do that, you can't be afraid of feeling, right?
Yeah.
And like that is, you have to create space for yourself to feel out what truly lights you up.
Yeah. And to find that sometimes you might feel bad.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I think that it's important to realize that just because you feel bad doesn't mean it was wrong.
Yes.
Doesn't mean it's a failure. Doesn't mean that something bad happened. It
Yeah.
just like just because you feel meh or bad and that didn't work, that's just information
Mhm.
that's going to inform you getting closer to building your own well
Mhm.
of feminine energy resourcefulness,
Mhm.
you know?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Ah, this is so good.
I am just so proud of your business, and
Ah,
I just so value you as a friend. I just can't even say enough good things. It's amazing, and just watching how everything has blossomed is just a testament to who you are in the world.
ah, thank you. I appreciate that so much. And honestly, like your friendship, I know we don't speak that often,
Yeah.
as often as I would like, but
Mm.
I feel
Well,
like, you know, it makes
we're
no difference.
connected. Oh, we didn't talk about the plant.
Oh my God, the
Okay,
plants.
I'll say it really quick.
Yes.
So when Alana was moving out of Brooklyn with Brian and you guys were moving to Kentucky,
Yeah.
um, she had, well, okay, so I'll go back before that. So when we were working on this quiz years ago and we were building out your website and doing all this stuff, we would do it like every Friday. I would go to your apartment and we would order Westville and we would like, crank out all the work. And Alana had this fiddle leaf fig plant that was huge and beautiful and like blossoming. Um, because it was in the perfect spot. I mean, your corner apartment got like direct sunlight all day long.
It was great.
And then Alana and Brian get married and they move to a different apartment. The sunlight.
Although I do have to say, we
Yeah.
got married before we lived together. We were
Yes.
married for 5 months before we actually lived together. That's a whole
Yeah.
other story. But
Yeah. We don't live together now. And so I'd always admired this plant. And then Alana moved to a different apartment. The sunlight was not so good, and the plant just like dies. Like it would turned into pretty much just twigs. It had a few leaves on it. But when you guys found out you were moving to Kentucky, you were like, okay, do you want these plants? And I was like, sure, yeah, absolutely. So I go to your apartment, I get these plans, I bring them home. I'm going through the worst time of my life at this point. Like I had moved out of my apartment with my ex, we broke up, it was messy, it was yucky, like just not a fun time in life. Um, all the leaves fell off and it was just a twig. And I was like, darn, okay, I couldn't keep, and like I really pride myself on plants. I really love plants a lot. I feel like I do a good job with them usually. And I was just like, "Ugh, okay, I guess I'll just throw this one out." Like I've never done that before. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know about this. So I was like, no, I'm just gonna like keep trying with it. So I repotted it, planted it, kept it outside. It blossomed again. And it is now, I sent you pictures recently and you were like, that's a different plant. Like it is now its own version of this like huge thriving tree. And I just find it the funniest thing ever. So as soon as Tim and I get married, whoever is listening and wants this plant, it might be
Yes. Yeah. So this is for real, you guys listening. So we decided that this plant is
It's the sisterhood of like
it's
it's
the
the marriage
sisterhood.
plant.
Yes. It's the sisterhood of the feminine energy,
Yeah.
like marriage. Like if
Yeah.
you're looking for partnership, I had this plan. I met Brian. We took the
Yeah. I had
plan.
this plant. I met Tim.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
plants kind of like go through their own metamorphosis.
Yeah.
So if you are listening to this and you want the plant, right after,
Yeah.
like you probably want to live in New York because that's where the plant is.
Yeah.
Potentially, unless you
Yeah.
want to travel, we'll
Yeah.
travel for plant. But you can email us at podcast@bewellbyak.com. I also want to share, and I might have already shared this in the intro because I'll probably record the intro after this our chat.
Yeah.
Is that in order to celebrate our 100th episode moving forward, what I'm going to do is a giveaway. Every month, I'm going to do a giveaway, and I'm going to give away one private one-on-one session with me every month. To anybody who sends us a screenshot of a review and a rating, a good one, on Apple or Spotify. We will enter you into our giveaway, and every month I will pick one person to give a free one-on-one to. So you can either DM us at BeWell by AK your photo with your name that we can put into our giveaway randomizer, or you can email podcast@bewellbyak.com.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love this.
I know. I'm very excited about it. Well, that's it for me. Anything else you want to share with our audience where we could find you?
Yeah. My Instagram handle is at Alexa Grow My Business. Just come say hi there. That's definitely where I like to chat with people. So I will see you over there.
Amazing. This was so fun.
This was great.
So
You're the
fun.
best. I'm so happy. This is what, our third episode together?
I feel, well,
The
yeah,
first one
including
we
yours.
did. Yeah, first one we did on mine forever ago. And then yours, and now this one again.
Oh my God. I'll have to link both of those actually.
Yeah. You should come on and talk about your business evolution.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah. That would be fun.
That would be so great.
Yeah. Because that was way back in the day. I think you were still only doing one-on-ones back then.
Yeah, I think that must have been 2019.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a long time ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll definitely have you back on.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much, Alexa. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone listening. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And like I said, if you are listening on Apple or Spotify, please subscribe, leave us a review, and enter to win a free one-on-one session with me in our giveaway. And until next time, I'm Alana, and thank you for listening to Emotional Eating Unwrapped.